Welcome, everybody, to Drive Thru Sports with Adam and Paul. It is Monday, May the 18th, 2020. I'm Adam Freeman coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia. Paul Brees is in Brentwood, Tennessee right now. Brees, what's going on, man?
Man, put in a full day of work today, man. I'm exhausted. I know people are like, what are you talking about? I actually had to get up out of bed at 7 o'clock, get ready, and went to work till about 3:15, came home. I got home, Adam, and my wife had created a board game day. So all my kids have been playing games all day. So what happens when I walk in?
They want you to play. They want you to play.
Absolutely.
And you're exhausted, dude.
I know. Got to play Uno, right?
So no nap, then.
No, man. You're seeing me on. I'm working on adrenaline right now.
Well, I mean, I got to admit, man, like I'm a little depressed because Last Dance is over.
Absolutely.
Like, because especially since we're not sure what's coming around the pike. Baseball sort of said we're going to start in June, but we really don't know what that's going to look like. A couple states said they're open for sports without fans, so maybe we can at least see it on TV. But the Last Dance was kind of that one thing that just kind of you had to look forward to the last 5 weeks, and it gives us something to talk about every Monday night for sure. A lot of things to take in from the Last Dance finale, episodes 9 and 10 last night. A lot of stuff, Rodman leaving after game 3 to go wrestle with Hulk Hogan. That is just quintessential Dennis Rodman. And I don't know that any other coach in the game could have dealt with him and like Phil Jackson. He's not here. We don't know where he is. And like they came back and I guess they beat him with those. They got to take turns like hitting him with like paddles or whatever, and then they just kind of moved on. So that him wrestling and hitting DDP with a chair and then coming back and winning game 4. That's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Obviously, they were a little disappointed in Dennis, but what did the guy do in game 4? Right?
Oh,
it's like he had a plus minus of +5. He had like 14 boards. He had 6 for 7 from the free throw line.
Yeah, hit two clutch ones. Yeah, he hit 2 clutch free throws at the end, and didn't he hit a 3?
Well, maybe not that game, but yeah, I do remember seeing a highlight where he definitely jacked one up there in the series.
Yeah, and so I mean, that's the thing. They always knew that no matter what he was doing, no matter where he was, when he was on the court, they knew they were going to get 110% from that guy. And I think that was the overwhelming reason why Phil was the way he was with him, because he knew, if we can just get him in the building, we're a better team. And I think that was the big thing. And another takeaway from that's kind of a sad one is I'd forgotten all about this Steve Kerr and what he went through when he was at Arizona with his dad. Man, that was just heartbreaking. And somebody on the Facebook today reminded me they had a post. They said when Arizona played Arizona State that year at Arizona State, the Arizona State fans were heckling him because of his dad. Okay. So he proceeded to go like 6 for 6 from 3. And, I think he had like 25 points in that game. But having some of the similarities with, him and Jordan, and he saying that they really didn't talk about it because it was really too painful for both of them was kind of sad. But I thought it was awesome at the trophy presentation after the 98. Kerr, his little stand-up comedy routine up there, just holding his own, man. Had to carry his water again. Here I go, I'm making $750,000 a year. I'm the lowest paid player, and here I am having to make these game-winning shots.
That's right.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. So I enjoyed that part of it. And that gets us to kind of the biggest takeaway.
Well, before we jump into that, let me get two things that I may want to jump in here and say. Overall, the big picture is we may see a lot more number 23 Bulls jerseys running around by the youth of America. I think that pretty much the exposure solidified himself as LeBron who. I think even in my own house, my kids were like, man, that's crazy what he was doing. It's just it just puts the icing on the cake. And some of these kids, have never seen him. Second thing I wanted to mention was at the very end, how we maybe thought Jerry Krause was kind of the Darth Vader of it all. But Ronsdorf definitely played a little bit. And he was involved in, the breaking up of, and how Jordan was like at the end, hey, I could have convinced them all to come back. And we could have made it a run for 7. And, and there were some experts around the league that felt like, that next season that the Bulls probably could have won it again.
Well, yeah, they could have won. I think if they had all come back, I think they could have won 7. Now I don't know that they could have won 8 because that's when the Lakers were starting to come on. Lakers won it. Right. And 99, you'll remember too, there was a lockout.
That's right. Shortened season.
They didn't even start playing until February.
That's right. That would have helped. That would have helped the team. An aging team for sure.
Oh yeah.
Where they didn't have to
get healthy.
Right.
And that was the Knicks Spurs final that the Spurs won in 5 games.
Yeah.
You're telling me that they would have walked through the Knicks, and you're telling me the Spurs were going to slow them down? No, I don't think that was going to happen. They would have won 7. Then you got Shaq and Kobe in 2000, which, I don't know. That would have been can you imagine
a good one.
Series? That would have been a great series. That would have been like the 91 Showtime Lakers against when he won his first one, I think. That would be a great series if you could go back and have that. But I agree with a lot of talking heads that I heard today. If you were going to win, 8 championships, the time to do it would have been in 94 and 95 when he was playing.
That's right.
If he had stayed, they could have won 8 straight.
Right.
If you think, because he came back late in 95 now, and they lost in the finals, Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even in shape. I think had he been in shape, I think they could have won 95. And if he stayed another year, I think he could have won again. That would have been 8 titles. That's just crazy. And your point about a lot more Jordan jerseys. Yeah. I think the kids today, they're so enamored with LeBron and, the fact that, yes, he is a different type of player. But prime versus prime, give me Jordan all the time, every single time. It's not, like you said, it's not even a choice. Crunch time, I want him with the ball in his hands. He's proven it over and over again.
Right. And for him, to come up in his own mind of ways how people, even tiny bits, slight him, that he could create this big, massive thing in his mind to challenge, Byron Russell. I mean,
that was great.
Yeah. So that just shows the competitive nature in him and how nobody else has matched it ever since.
Yeah, and that's the thing I'm going to miss about this documentary. There's a lot of good documentaries, but this gets you – that got into, who he was, his DNA as an athlete, as an individual. The George Karl thing, the Byron Russell thing, it's just it just boggles the mind that somebody can be that focused and driven and just determined. And at times, that the game where Scotty got hurt, and was in and out, carried that team, man. Carried it.
Yeah.
And so crazy, which gets us to another part of his mental toughness was the Pizzagate game. That was game 4. So game 4 in in Utah. Here's my question: if you're Michael Jordan, if you think something like that might happen, you got 5 guys in your room. Say, hey man, go pick the pizza up. Just order it for yourself and go pick it up so nobody knows who it's for. I also heard a different theory. We were talking that the pizza, that the 5 guys delivered one pizza.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird. And the fact that Jordan ate the whole pizza by himself. Now, this is late at night. Now, I'm assuming, and I heard Jalen Rose on Jalen and Jacoby today talk about, look, it's late. He's probably, had a few adult beverages, cigar. He's hungry late at night. Nobody else is hungry because they've already eaten. And he orders pizza and eats it all himself, like at midnight. He's like, that never goes well, So I think he was kind of a proponent that it wasn't food poisoning. I think he just had like a stomach bug or whatever, or an upset stomach from eating the pizza. The conspiracy theorist in me obviously wants to believe Pizzagate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I love stuff like that in sports. And
I mean, there was a basketball movie where 2 Boston Celtics fans. You remember that movie, that comedy movie, where it was like 2 or 3 Boston Celtics fans kidnapped one of the New York Knicks players. Now, obviously, it was a made-up deal, and they
right.
kidnapped him.
Right.
I can't remember the exact. I'd have to look it up, but just the whole thing of five people showing up to deliver, and then Jordan's posse is saying, hey, this doesn't seem right. How they're playing it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see where Jalen Rose is saying, listen, it's midnight. You're eating a whole pizza, and I'm sure you definitely got the cigar rolling. Now, remember, this isn't 98. This is 97.
Yeah.
This all took place, so it'd be championship number 5. But for him to, drop, 38?
Yeah, 38 in 44 minutes.
Yeah.
With a stomach ailment.
Hey,
I mean,
the first person I would look at and say, hey, Phil Jackson, what are you doing, man? I mean, the guy is, can barely move. Let's play him 44 minutes. Thanks, Phil.
Well, here's the thing, too. If it was food poisoning, look, have you had food poisoning?
I mean, obviously, sometimes you can't tell. Me personally, I assume maybe.
Okay, I know for sure I've had it.
Okay.
I got it at Sonic on a Sunday. I lost 15 pounds in 2 days.
Wow. Throwing
up crazy. I mean, I missed 2 days of work. I went back on Wednesday. Probably shouldn't, because I was completely dead on my feet. I hadn't had anything to eat since I ate the hamburger that made me sick. So it had been almost 72 hours since I had anything to eat on that Wednesday. And Brees, I just wanted to crawl into a corner and go to sleep because I had zero energy. I don't see how, if this was food poisoning, how any human being the night after, like we're talking like 18 hours after, could play an NBA game, score 38, and play 44 minutes. I don't see how it's possible. That in itself just speaks to his greatness right there. I was an absolute basket case. I was in bed 18 hours a day, Monday, like Sunday night through to Monday. I mean, I could barely move. It was so bad.
You didn't want to walk out to your driveway and shoot a couple of shots?
No. I didn't feel like doing anything. I had zero energy and I felt horrible. But, again, that's sort of the Pizzagate theme. It's intriguing. It's intriguing. And we could sit here and talk about it forever.
Oh, yeah. So speaking of conspiracy, right?
Speaking of conspiracy, our next topic, which is one that you mentioned to me today, and I got on board with it pretty quickly.
Well, you had to do some research via
A little
your
bit.
kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an unbelievable story.
Yes. So go. I need you to go into it because you're.
Well,
Chuck E. Cheese. We're growing up. That's where you want to go. Okay. You want to go Chuck E. Cheese, get the tokens, get the tickets, get the prizes. Play all the games. All that stuff. And
right.
to be honest with you, the pizza was not that bad. I was okay
No.
with the pizza. No, I thought the pizza was good. But anyway.
So obviously, 6-8 months ago, there was a whole thing about, Chuck E. Cheese would take parts from leftover pizza from different customers after they left. You know how the pizza's laying there.
Oh, yeah.
They would go back and create a whole pie, reheat it somehow. And on certain parts of the story, they were talking about how it was cut uneven, and you could tell that there were different slices involved. All right, listen, that's old news. Here is the good news and the new news. Chuck E. Cheese has found a new way to promote their pizza to-go orders via Grubhub by using not the Chuck E. Cheese name, because nobody that I know would say, hey, if we're going to get pizza, let's Grubhub some Chuck E. Cheese pizza, right?
Right.
So they have gone under the moniker of Pasquale Pizza and Wings. Pasquale's Pizza and Wings.
Write that down.
Right.
Write it down.
I did a little fact finding. I tried to see if this was true. I went on Grubhub, typed in Pasquale Pizza and Wings. The location closest to me matched the exact same location as the Chuck E. Cheese.
Now, this is not just a Tennessee Chuck E. Cheese thing, because Abby did the same thing. She typed it in on Grubhub. Guess where the Pasquale Pizza and Wings is? It's on Barrett Parkway, right where the Chuck E. Cheese is.
This is the greatest thing ever, man.
I mean, you got to give them props because they know that nobody's Grubhubbing Chuck E. Cheese pizza, right?
Now, you got to understand, for you new Chuck E. Cheese connoisseurs, Pasquale was part of the Chuck E. Cheese gang.
He's part of the band, right?
He's part of the band. He's part of the robotic, or how would you describe the
animatronics?
Animatronics band. And Pasquale was the chef. And growing up, we would all look. I would always say, "Hey, so and so's not working," or one of the animals would. You were young and you were like, "Why is the drummer off?" Chuck E. Cheese is unbelievable, and they have created another part of their controversy.
That's great. That's awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Well, I do know the first Chuck E. Cheese I ate at was out in Hickory Hollow. And Hickory Hollow, we had to drive through Hickory Hollow to get to our next topic here, the church league basketball. We played in a church league, Paul and I, Jim Bills, Daryl Harriman, I think, was on that team. I think Dawson played on that team. And we pretty much had just any one of our friends that wanted to play, we would just bring them and get them a jersey, and they would play.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, Adam, you were like, who was the coach?
I don't know.
And I was having a hard time trying to remember that as well.
Yeah, I would have assumed it would have been like maybe Tommy. You said Tommy.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know.
So we as 16-plus-year-old guys head to church league basketball and are playing on our own, minus an adult.
Pretty much. I think that's pretty much how it was. I think we had an adult sign us up for the league, and if anybody asked, we were always like, they're on their way, and they would never show up. I really don't believe we had a coach. I don't think. In fact, I think Harriman may have been our acting coach.
And he did not even go to our church.
He was Bill's friend from school. Hey, and it didn't, and it was great because, see, he had transferred to Brentwood and was ineligible, so he couldn't play basketball. So he was
That's right.
to play for us.
Yeah, and he was pretty good.
He was like 6'5", 6'6", left-handed, wide body. I mean, he was pretty skilled. So whenever we had him, I mean, the game plan was simple because you just get the ball to Daryl down on the block, and it's over. It's ball game. And so we were playing a game, and there was Smith Springs was the home church, that Smith Springs Church of Christ, that hosted. They had a gym, which is why they hosted the league.
One of the few area churches at the time that had a gym.
Yeah, not everybody has gyms like they do now. Back then, and so they had Smith Springs. They had 3 teams, if you recall, Paul. They had Smith Springs 1, which was their A team, I think. Smith Springs 2, which was like their kind of scrubby team. And then they had Smith Springs 3.
Okay.
Now, tell our listeners a little bit about Smith Springs 3.
If this is the team that we played,
Yes,
Smith Springs 3 was made up of probably community area guys that needed to play basketball to a little recreation for them, sure, and maybe a draw to get them to come to church.
Yeah.
Definitely out-athleted us at every position, left and right.
Every position.
We did not deserve to be. I mean, listen. Obviously, I was outclassed as soon as I walked in the door when Smith Springs 3 came in there. Tremendous athletes. We'll call it like that.
Yep.
So they were the team to beat. How about that?
They were the team to beat, no doubt. So we played them. We're pretty hyped up for it. We like a challenge. We're competitive. And it gets a little chippy early.
Somehow because we were hanging with them a little bit.
Yeah, we were hanging with them. They didn't like it. So, they start chirping. We chirp back.
Well, some of us did.
Some of us did. There was an incident that, I know that, I don't know if Jim will ever watch this episode, but he's the one that I remember. He was being very, Jim Bill's very calm, cool, all very even keel. But the dude that was guarding him, man, just kept pushing, kept chirping. And Bill's finally had enough of it. And some words were exchanged. And
the malice from the palace.
The malice from
part 2 ensued.
Malice of the palace part 2.
Church league style.
And it was a bench clearing altercation. I don't know who threw the first punch, pushed the first person. But once it started, everybody got involved. Fans, officials. I mean, it was a melee on the court. And that was our last game at the church league. We got tossed from the league after playing like 5 games.
Now, obviously, Smith Springs 3, the host of the whole league, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get tossed.
No, they didn't get tossed. They were playing this week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we would, we'd go, this was like a little mini road trip for us because those of you not familiar with, from Brentwood to Hickory Hollow, I mean, that's a good 30, 45 minutes. If you go
and
Hickory.
And Hickory Hollow was the area of where that's all we had to hang out with. The mall was there, restaurants, shopping, but that was it.
Pool halls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, but that was the place that we went, but it was a solid 30, 45 minutes from Brentwood.
Right.
It's not like it is today. I mean, it was nice, it was the mall to go to. And so it was like a little mini road trip for us. Every time we would have a game on a Saturday, we'd go up there, play a game. On our way back, we would stop at Hickory Hollow, get something to eat. And I had to remind Paul of this story. And it's our last little foray tonight. I know we've covered a lot of stuff, but this one, on our way back, we had played a game which we did not get in an altercation. In fact, I think we may have won this game. We come back, and my friend Evan, for some reason, went and played with us. Okay, and so it's me, Brees, and Evan in Paul's '86 Mercury Lynx.
Never forget.
We're like, let's go to Burger King. And then as we're going to Burger King, Evan's like, he's like, hey, he goes, go through the drive-thru backwards. And Paul initially is like, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And then about, I don't know, before I knew it, he was pulling into a parking space, and then he backed out, and he's going through the drive-thru backwards, and I'm face-to-face with the speaker ordering food.
Hey, you know what? Back in the times, man, you had to entertain yourself.
You had to do whatever.
Good, clean fun.
It was. Nobody got hurt.
Nope.
You didn't hit a curb or anything. The best part of it was when we backed to get our food, and I'm sitting there facing the other direction. And she's looking at me in the passenger side, and she just looks at me like, something's not right with you. Of course, Evan is in the floor in the back seat, just dying laughing, and you're laughing too. And I'm trying to keep a straight face and pay for our food and everything. But
you got to remind yourself, the Mercury Lynx was a stick shift.
It was a stick shift.
I mean, it had to take some precision driving to get that thing done, man.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah, just like automatic, where you just back it up, and I mean, yeah, you had to ride the clutch a little bit and negotiate that tight 90-degree corner, which I gotta say you did remarkably well.
Hey, the Mercury Lynx was indestructible, right?
It was the indestructible Mercury Lynx. I do remember at one point in time, we were off of Thompson Lane.
Yep.
We were going the wrong way, and you pulled into this like warehouse parking lot to turn around, and you went to turn, and there was a guide wire coming down from a light post, and you didn't see it, and you slammed into that thing, and you're like, oh man, and you got out, and there wasn't a thing wrong with your car, and you were like, it's indestructible. And, I mean, when we hit, man, I got shoved forward in the seat, man. Good thing I had my seatbelt on. And we got out. I mean, it was just like a little scratch. It wasn't even a dent or anything. We were like, man, this car is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
my goodness.
What a ride.
Well, here's what we've learned tonight. Be careful where you order your pizza. MJ's the GOAT. Don't order Chuck E. Cheese. If you want Chuck E. Cheese, you're going to have to get Pasquale. Hey, Adam and I, maybe one of the few teams that never got kicked out of a church basketball league. And yes, you can't go through the drive-thru in reverse and still get away with it.
That's right. And you can still get your food and enjoy it. And we hope you guys are out there supporting your local restaurants. Get out and get some food at your favorite place. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure that if you'll notice here, you can check out our next episode, as well as click on our picture down at the bottom, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow us on all of our listening platforms, as you can see those over here to my right. And Paul, you got any last minute words?
Hey, NFL fans, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, Ben Roethlisberger, he's back.
And he is not going to shave till he completes a pass to a teammate. And that's the last word. Check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on our picture down here, and check out our latest episode by just clicking on the picture. You've been listening to Drive Thru Sports, Adam and Paul.